Hello. Today I decided to feature a ship I haven't featured in quite a long time on my channel, and that is of course the king of all calibers, the king of AP itself, the Yamato. The one ship that doesn't give a shit about any sort of angling, doesn't care what you do against it. If you get hit by the shells, you're gonna be in a lot of pain. Some banter going on in chat, of course. Division mates, nothing you should take seriously. Now the map is Islands of Ice. Now on this map going to A is a rather weak move because, well, even in competitive games it's quite hard to go from A down to B, but in random battles the same thing can happen. If you all lemming train to A, then you're gonna have a hard time pushing down into B, especially if the randoms, or if a lot of random people set up around BC, and your team will never have the balls to actually push through, so you end up in a stalemate where you will usually lose. So the goal here is going to be taking B and C control, which is what we wrote in chat as well. Now, of course, if you play a battleship, especially a huge, slow one like the Yamato, well, my preferred position on this map will be actually right between B and C, where I'm capable of supporting both caps, but if I end up taking a lot of damage or end up focused heavily, I can still use that island between B and C as potential cover, or even I can use it to turn around and hide my broadside as I make the turn. I have no issue shooting quite early and letting them know where I am, even though I am running the stealth build on the Yamato, but I kind of want them to know I'm here. I kind of want them to be like, you see this Zhao instantly turns away and goes, oh shit, there's a Yamato there. Because I don't want anyone harassing my DDs. I'm in a division with DDs, and in general I want them to be able to capture B. And Yamato has this kind of fear factor when it shows up. You don't even really want to sit an angle against it, because you know that if it decides to shoot at you, you're still going to take heavy damage even while angled. So letting them know I'm here kind of... You saw that Minotaur, maybe he was planning on pushing into the cap, but then when he saw me, he decided, nope, he's going to smoke up outside the cap and just try to hold up here. And that's kind of what I want. I don't care if they shoot at me a bit, they can shoot at me, that's fine. I have plenty of armor, I have plenty of HP, and so forth. They can land a few shells at me. Now I take one fire, and I'm about to go into a smoke, so get undetected. Now you shouldn't blow your repair. I never blow repair on one fire, especially in a battleship, and well, with torps coming in as well. I think these are actually 20 km torps. I think I am going to hit one. I wasn't expecting someone to actually use the 20 km torps, but whatever. I'll take it on the belt, where the damage it does is going to be 7.7k. The belt, of course, on the Yamato is fantastic. So if you have to take one torpedo like that, make sure you hit it on the belt, where it does next to no damage at all. Now, of course, you never want to repair one fire. Fire is light damage. You can fully heal it all back. So getting one fire ticking on you, not a big deal. However, if you burn your repair and then you get randomly torqued or you get set on fire and stuff like that, that's when things get really hairy. So you really want to save that repair, save it as much as possible. Sometimes I don't even repair two fires. If I consider I'm under fire or I'm close to getting into cover, I save my repair until I get into cover and then use it, instead of risking the multiple fires. Well, really, 4 Urpens on a Baltimore. That guy got extremely lucky there. Now, the Khabarovsk smoked me up. They are, of course, 2 DDs, so they can share one smoke each, or they can share one smoke and give me one smoke as well. The cow is reversing, so I'm obviously going to punish him for that. The Yamato accuracy is, of course, fantastic, and the penetration is absolute top tier, which means that even though he's angled like that, well, that showed as an overpen, but clearly did more damage than that. He managed to evade the rest of the shells, quite lucky. We managed to secure B, because, well, they don't really want to push into Yamato, do they? And A is seemingly being secured as well. Now you see, here's a nice comparison. You see, we actually have a Yamato inside B. Now that is foolish. That is completely overextended. If you look at the minimap, you can see we have a Yamato right inside the B cap. And that is a good example of not understanding the limits. You see, he's being burned down, he's being wrecked. He has no escape. You can't do that in a T10 battleship. Doing it in even fast battleships and agile ones is risky. But in a Yamato, you have no escape. You're just going to get focused down, you're going to get killed. It doesn't even matter if you have a DD there to smoke you up. How do you get out of a position like that? You can't. You're just going to get absolutely wrecked. So that's a good example of total overextension and not knowing your limits. Another example, however, is if we look at the minimap again, we can look at the 9 line. We have another Yamato. And he's playing way too far back. He's sitting at 20 km. which of course limits his accuracy, limits his damage. I mean, look at this volleys. That was what, 15, 16, 17k? I didn't even look at the numbers proper on that Turpitz. And I'm this constant threat to both DDs and cruisers alike because I'm so close that, well, you see they're using torps and stuff on me. And I'm this constant threat to them that they are afraid to push in. Whereas this Yamato sitting on the 9 line, he's no threat to anyone really. Well, he's a threat to that he might get a random lucky shot on someone. And he's also not tanking any damage, which I don't mind if they shoot at me a bit. Like you see, some people are taking pot shots at me. I don't care, it's fine. I have plenty of armor, I'm angled, I'm not gonna die from some hits. And I think that this shows the contrast fairly well between the aggression, the over-aggression example, and then the overly passive play, which is the other example. Personally, I prefer my position. I am very close to the caps, yes, but I don't need to be any further away because, well, as I said, I'm not going to die all of a sudden. I can retreat if it comes to that, and I'm not overextending either. If they really want to focus me, well, not only do they have to do it within my arcs of fire, but they're going to have to do it against my angled ship. You can't really get my broadside from anywhere where I am right now. And in fact, thanks to this island that I position next to, the guys down at sea can't really shoot at me either. So the only ones who can shoot are the ones that I'm currently shooting back at, which is perfect. This is the optimal position for Yamato. This is where he shines, where he can angle his extremely strong armor against them and just let them basically bash their faces against it. And trading shells with them is something you love doing. See a DD, obviously take the shot at the DD if you can, highly recommended. I see, what's this, Minotaur now shooting at me? Once again, that's okay. The Minotaur can spam me. If he's spamming me, then he's not spamming anyone else. Kabarov's dropped some torps into that Shimakaze smoke, but I really don't mind. And because I'm running the stealth spec, of course, as soon as the Shimakaze smoked up, well, I'm undetected. So this kind of aggressive position, because of the stealth spec, even if a DD decides to smoke up, I become instantly undetected. Oh, Minotaur pops up, he spots me. I instantly shoot back at him though. It's always worth taking shots at the Minotaur. Any Royal Navy cruiser you should always take shots at in the Yamato. You only need to get one good volley. That's literally all you need, because your shells punch straight through the entire ship and it's pretty much a guaranteed citadel. All you need to do is get one good volley, so I always go for them. Even if there's a low probability of me hitting, when I do hit, it will absolutely murder them. North Carolina, this kind of angle could be troublesome for anyone else, but Yamato will punch straight through that and go straight for the citadel. You see these torps in front of me? 20 km torps on the Shimakaze, the ones I don't recommend at all. You can see how far away I can spot them and how easy it is for me to reverse and dodge them. Even in the T10 battleship, I can easily dodge these 20 km torps, which is why I highly recommend against them. Here's his next few torps, and once again, easily will be dodging them. That's why you don't use them, the detection is garbage. You saw the North Carolina, even though he was angled so heavily, he still ate significant damage. The gearing is here as well, that's why I'm going to start reversing a bit now, because I don't really want to get close to 2 T10 DDs, that's asking for chain torps. Chain torps is of course a nightmare, because you eat one torp and you heal it, then you get flooding and so forth. And now my Kabarov's buddy is telling me he's about to smoke me up, which is why I finally use my repair. Otherwise, of course, I wouldn't be using it there. No one is shooting at me. Oh, actually, I might have used the repair a bit too soon. Optimally, I think that was a bit of a misplay. I should optimally have eaten a bit more fire damage and saved my repair for a few more seconds. The smoke did cover me, but I was still visible for a few more seconds after I used my repair, and there was potential for permanent fires on me there. So I don't think that was optimal timing, but ultimately you saw the idea of when I used it. Just when I was about to get the cover, only then did I bother to actually repair up. Now they finally realized that the only way they can really make any headway on this B cap, where there have been basically, well, my entire fleet is holding down C, but they're pretty much struggling against a bunch of DDs and me at B, and they finally realized that the only way they can actually get anything done in B is, well, they send in their own battleships. And since the Yamato is smoked up, I'm glad I'm also smoked up, since otherwise it would be quite awkward. They're trying to go for the cap, but of course all my DDs happily send torps there, just like they have been torping us, they happily torp him back. Oh, Minotaur! And I take stock of exactly where he disappeared, and I shoot where he was last seen. Even though he's disappeared in the smoke, you should always take the shot, because there is a possibility that you'll hit the jackpot. And that was a triple citadel and instant deletion of that Minotaur. That is of course the risk with the Minotaur when you play aggressively like that. If a Yamato happens to see you while his guns are just about to reload, then it's pretty much a guaranteed death. It didn't matter that he disappeared, I still took the shot and it still punished him heavily. Shooting some shots at the Yamato and some at North Carolina, both are very low HP. Oh, he ate torps before I could. And my volley fell short on the North Carolina. I thought my aim was actually quite good, but I think I got a bit of dispersion there. It happens. Anyway, seeing as my DDs are now getting into the proper fight, they are in there brawling, then I'm gonna of course also go in there and brawl. If you see your DDs are in distress, that's not the time to sit back and twiddle your thumbs and just watch them duke it out as you sit back and snipe casually. No, if you see your DDs are actively fighting the enemy DDs and there's a proper fight going on like this, that's when you push in. You push in to help them. Yes, you might get a torp, yes, you might take some damage, but that doesn't matter. You need to help them. You can't just sit there and watch them die, because DDs are very important to not only winning the game, but they're also the one who has been helping you this entire time by scanning for incoming torp volleys, helping everything. Oh, and there's my double strike. I of course citadel the Takao, even though he angled, since Yamato doesn't care about angles, and Yamato has quite good secondaries as well, which finished off the Shimakaze. So close quarters expert and the double strike. But that's exactly what I mean. You need to push in when you see them fighting, because if you don't do it, well, then you're not as big of a threat like I was there, and you're not there to draw some of the fire as well, and you want to be drawing some of the fires. Instead of the squishy DDs drawing it, you want it to be you who's drawing it. My division mate is asking, why the fuck is everyone focusing me? Don't you see Flamu? Because usually when I play battleships, my division mates usually love it when I play battleship, because everyone shoots me instead of shooting them. Now here you're gonna see, you see the Zhao? He's actually quite close. Now you see I'm aiming above him. I'm not aiming at the waterline, I'm aiming above the waterline. That's because I know the Zhao, as soon as he sees me shoot, he's gonna turn away. And when you're this close, I'm fairly good at predicting the path. You see the angle at which the Zhao died on the minimap, he was actively turning away. So I basically predicted his turn, and he turned right underneath the shells, which resulted in a double citadel, and that was of course the Kraken as well. So that's of course the risk you run when you get that close in cruisers against the Zhao who knows what he's doing. If he predicts correctly what you're going to do, instead of just shooting straight at the waterline, which would have missed in this case, I made sure to shoot slightly above it, so that when he does that turn, you will nail them as they turn away. That's something that no doubt requires a bit more experience than the average battleship player, but it's good to experiment with it. When you face cruisers will most likely do it, and it's good to practice the aim point and practice where you need to aim depending on the distance, so you get that down, because it's very, very strong. And that's Zhao, who would have otherwise maybe gotten away, disappeared into stealth or something. Well, he actually survived, tracked the shot for a bit. Then I'm just gonna go for the Baltimore instead. Baltimore of course has no chance of really tanking my shells, so I'll happily take my shots at him instead. Waiting for the reload. Is he gonna turn? I'm aiming slightly above, expecting him to turn away, which is he's actually doing. I think I need to aim a bit higher maybe. Yeah, I should have aimed just a bit higher. I only got one citadel. Just a bit higher would have been optimal. You can see the achievement spam going on in chat. I just filled with my achievements. And the Yamato that got killed is complaining about pussies, but if your team has died around you and you're the last one alive in a Yamato, I can't really say you've been playing the optimal game. Once again, I have one fire on me, I don't care, that it can tick happily away, I'm not too bothered. The game ends before I can finish off the Baltimore, and we get the scoreboard. 700,000 credits. This isn't with any mission done, this is just the Zulu flag on top of, well, just having premium. And you can see the absolute ridiculous achievement spam next to me. The damage ended up at only 203k damage, but that's not too bad considering all the achievements that came with it. Team score wise or basic speed wise, I did break 3000, which with the later patches have become increasingly difficult, so doing it in a battleship is always extremely satisfying, especially since this was mostly high tier matchmaking and not really many low tiers at all. And you can see, hovering over the achievement tab, you can see just how much stuff I got in this one game, which I find quite hilarious. And of course, Game time 14:45, so almost a 15-minute game. Not the quickest one, but then again, it was more about optimal positioning than anything else. You might see that I tanked 125,000 damage, of which 43,000 was fires, which not really a big deal. I healed it all back up. I don't care. If that wasn't nearly as much as I've usually tanked, and I did take 2.7 million potential damage, and that makes me happy. If I get those achievements, then that means, and the achievements like Fireproof and Dreadnought, that means I've been doing my job as a battleship. And that's the attitude more battleships really need to have. Anyway, that was my Yamato commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed it.